There we go. Okay, here we go. So let's do some examples, guys. So we'll do this first one, $6 for 6 erasers. What did we just say? I first want to write it as a ratio. What number goes on top? What number goes on bottom? $6 goes on top. So I'm going to write $6 on top. And notice I still labeled it. And then I'm going to write 8 erasers on bottom. So that phrase I just told you, top dog always goes in the house. You are taking your numerator and dividing it by your denominator. So I put 6 inside the house, and my 8 goes outside of it. So we are doing 6 divided by 8. Is that understood, guys? McKenna?
Will we have to, label it on the test?
Yeah, you have to label.
So, we'll have to do, the money sign and the eraser.
Because if you don't, you're going to get your answer wrong. So, yeah, there's a rhyme to my madness. So, let's start dividing, guys. Can 8 go into 6?
No.
What do we put up top?
A 0.
A 0. Now, what else do I put up top?
A decimal.
A decimal. What do I need to add next to that 6?
0.
8 goes into 60. How many times?
7.
Because what's 8 times 7?
54.
56. 60 minus 56 is?
4.
What do I need to add next to that 4?
A 0.
A 0. 8 goes into 40. How many times?
5.
You need to make sure you are writing this down with me, guys. Because what's 5 times 4?
20.
So what did we get?
40 over 0.
Nope, my answer is always where?
Oh, up top.
Up top. So what's my answer? 0.75. So right here on unit rate, I'm going to write 0.75. Now with unit rates, guys, unlike ratios, with ratios, did we have to label?
No.
Do you think with unit rates we have to label?
Yeah.
There are 2 labels. Okay? What do you think one label is? Money, or dollar sign. So I'm going to put that dollar sign in front of the 0.75 because it's not 0.75, it's 75 cents. Now, what's the second label, everyone?
Erasers.
Erasers. Now, do you remember how we just talked about how it's dollars per hour, words per minute, miles per hour? What word do you think I need to insert before the word erasers? I need to insert the word per. So per. Now, is this a plural erasers or a singular erasers? Singular, so I don't need the S, it's just eraser. Because it's 75 cents for one eraser. Does that make sense? Okay, let's try the next one. Math will be a little bit easier on the next one, okay, guys? So 300 miles in 5 hours. What goes on top? What goes on bottom?
300 on top.
Good, 300 on top, and what on bottom?
5 hours.
5 hours on bottom.
Can you write HRS instead of
You can abbreviate to a certain degree. Because there are certain, don't just write an H, because an H means something completely else abbreviated. So as long as, you're being really careful with your abbreviations, you're fine. But I'll explain how we can do the unit rate, that abbreviation in a second, okay? Which number goes in the house, guys?
300.
Why 300? It is on top. Don't ever tell me it's the bigger number. Because was number 1 a bigger number? No, so it has nothing to do with bigger or smaller. It's whatever's on top goes inside the house. Bottom goes outside the house. Can 5 go into 3?
Yes. No.
Can 5 go into 30?
Yes.
How many times?
6.
So I put that 6 above the first 0. 6 times 5 is?
30.
30 minus 30 is?
0.
Here's where a lot of students get this wrong. They tell me the answer is 6. What did they forget to do?
0 is 9.
You gotta bring that 0 up, right guys? Because my answer's not 6, it is what? 60. Now what are my two labels?
60 miles per hour.
So here's that miles per hour. Does anyone know how in the world we abbreviate miles per hour? Do you think it's okay to say MPH in this case?
Yes.
Because that's an abbreviation we all know, right? So that is perfectly acceptable. Okay, let's do the next one together. And then you guys are going to do the next couple on your own. And I'll come around and check them. So I have 98 students in 4 classes. Which number should go on top? Which number should go on bottom? So 98 students on top, 4 classes on bottom. Which number should go inside the house? Hey guys, which number should go in the house? The top number. Okay, can 4 go into 9? How many times?
2.
So the 2 goes above the 9. 2 times 4 is? 9 minus 8 is? Bring down the 8. 4 goes into 18. How many times? 4 times 4 is? So I have now 18 minus 16. That is?
2.
So I'm not done. I can't just put remainder 2 or 0.2. What do I have to do? I got to add a decimal and I have to add a 0. Don't forget whenever you add a 0 to add that decimal point if you haven't done so yet. Can 4 go into 20?
Yes.
How many times?
5.
And 5 times 4 is?
5 times 4 is 20.
5 times 4 is 20. So what did we get as an answer?
24.5.
24.5. And I have to have 2 labels. What's my 2 labels?
Students and classes.
Students per class.
Students per class. Now, we did the word per, right? The other way that you can write this is you can write the word students, and instead of writing the word per, you can do a little backslash fraction line, and you don't have to write the word per, and then you can write the word class. So you have a couple of different options. You can say per, or you can do the backslash. Is that understood? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, I want everyone doing the next one. 96 chairs and 12 rows.
Do we just do the next one? That's it?
Yep, do the next one, and then I will come check it off. So raise your hand when you get it done. I will check it off and give you permission to go to the next one. Good job. Good job. Okay. Some of you are still working on this. Some of you have your homework assignment in front of you. So I want to explain your homework assignment to you. So everyone look up here, please. It says write the ratio and unit rate for each statement. So number 1, if I was going to write the ratio for it, how would I write it?
14.
I would write 14 to 3. You do not have to label the ratio. Is that understood? But I want you to write it all 3 ways. So it's 14 to 3, 14 over 3, and 14 to 3. Is that understood to everyone? So write it all 3 ways for me. Then unit rate. Do I have room to solve on this front page?
No.
So where should all of my work be?
Back.
Back, loose leaf sheet of paper, please and thank you. So I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do number 1 on the back. I'm going to make sure that I label it, I have it boxed in, it's all nice, neat, and organized. Which number should go in the house? 14. So I'm doing 14 divided by 3. This one, guys, you're going to have to round to the nearest hundredth. So you go to 3 decimal places and then you round to that second number. Is that understood? And then I would write my answer as whatever dollars per cup. Alright. You guys can keep working. I'm still walking around the room handing out homework assignments. Well, make sure you're right when you get it raised right, okay? I don't want 3 numbers, I only want 8. So no, the ratio should be written as it is up above, not in simplest form. Great question, guys. The ratio part should be written as it says up above, not in simplest form. Is that understood? Yes. So write it as is. You do not need to simplify the ratio because you're doing unit rate, okay? Not just 8 rows, it's 8 what? Okay, chairs per row. Write that down. Okay, guys, keep working. Work, work, work. It's a tricky one. We'll talk about that one. So just write it how you think you would write it. Yep. That money will always go in the house. Okay, some of these ones on your homework, guys, I am going to warn you, are a little bit tricky, so just do your best, understood? Okay?
So for this one,